How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. It has begun. The market is starting to go down. At the close of the stock market on Wednesday, the S&P 500 dropped by 5.9%. This is a significant move. Today, I'm going to talk about my conviction of selling all my stock pretty early on, watching this crazy madness of all these people just buying in like it's BitConnect. You might think this is a small blip, but I believe traders are gonna panic because they piled in when it's really high and it dropped a little bit. When people sell, more people sell, and then more and more people sell. Today, I'm gonna talk about all these asset prices, and if the stock market drops, how much am I expecting it to drop? And what am I gonna buy once I think that the stock market dropped enough? Before I begin, this video is brought to you by Webull. Webull is a free trading app, and right now they're offering 2 free shares of stock for anyone that joins and deposit $100. Once you get your 2 free shares of stock deposited, this is yours to keep no matter what you do with the account. Check out my referral link down in the video description below. Now, being sold out of the stock market, you think that I want the stock market to go down. This is not the case. I actually want it to go up. It's just that I am investing in a way where I think the economy is going, where I think the stock market is going. So when the stock market goes down in a direction I expect it to go, I am naturally, yes, I am a little bit happy because then I'm not losing out on as much money as I'm supposed to gain. But I am not wishing for it to happen, and I'm not going to actively cause the stock market to go down. It's just that the realities of the real world is not reflected on the stock market right now. I am confident that it will revert back to reality and way overshoot it. Now, Wednesday's 5.9% drop of the S&P 500 is quite dramatic. It can be quite scary, and this is always the case with any kind of run-up. It always seems like the drop is roughly 3 times faster than the gains. Now, before I go and talk about all the stocks that I bought and sold, what position I am right now, this is not an endorsement to buy any of it. All of these stocks that I'm talking about is not investment advice. I do not recommend you to do the same that I do right here. The reality is, if you choose to buy an asset that I talk about, you have to take your own responsibility for this, no matter if it goes up or down. Now, let's go back to take a look at all the assets I've been buying and selling. I know I talk about these very few stocks more than others, but it gives you an example of when I sold out and what the current price is today. IXC, I sold out on May 8th at $19.66. After it's all said and done, including the Thursday drop, right now IXC, it's up 1.2% since I sold it. Is nothing to write home about. However, you have to look at the peak of it all. If you look at when I sold to the very, very peak, it's actually 19.6% that I could have sat in on the stock market and gained all of that if I happened to sell it right at that peak. If I didn't, if I did not time the top perfectly, which I know I can't, and then rode the last 3 days down, then I would have been up only 1.2%. So this is like really easy come, easy go. I sold out of all stocks roughly on May 8th, 2020. The S&P is up since then after all this dramatic drop and stuff on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you measure right when I sold it to all the way at the peak, again, the S&P 500 is up 10.3%. Now, right around Friday of last week, I have a lot of people commenting on my video saying, haha, you're so stupid. You're the stupidest YouTuber, financial/YouTuber ever, because you keep on making these selling videos and then the stock market keeps on going up. I'm like, you know, I laugh at myself too. The thing is that there's no way I could have predicted this crazy run up. This is an abnormal event with mounting risk of these infection stuff, all this stuff going on in the world, and then people would just keep on piling in. There's a sudden localized bubble with all these market timers, these traders. Now you have one camp of people that are long-term holders. They just say, oh, we are smart investors. So we ignore the short-term ups and downs, and then you just keep on buying, dollar cost averaging, and then as the market goes down, you keep on buying more and more. The thing is, if you kept that strategy of keep on buying, dollar cost averaging, you would have just as well wrote it down. And now if you held on this whole time, you would have been, sort of break even. It's down a little bit from the peak still for the S&P at least. Another asset that I made very, very public is buying a small amount of TVIX on May 26th. I bought 10 shares of it at $138 $8.95 at the peak minimum, okay? It kept on dropping in price, and I knew this was gonna happen, and I was willing to wait until it's like $70 or so. It turns out it went all the way down to $100. Down by 26% at the worst of it. And it does make me kind of feel bad because I have $1,389 in it, and down 26% is quite a bit of money. But look, yay, look, now it's up like 60% or so. It went up a little bit more even so after hours. But my trade here with this volatility index is not just 50%. I was waiting for a dramatic thing to happen. I wanted to put a small, tiny bit amount, something that won't make my emotions affect the way I trade. So I'm going to put a small amount in there, $1,400 or so. And if it drops a lot, this allowed me to keep on holding on to it because it's not too much money that I'm losing, even though it ran up 60% for today. And in total, I'm up about 30% or so. I'm not selling this at the end of this trading day because I think whenever there is mass volatility, when there is mass fear going on, it may take somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks for all of this to completely get integrated into the market and completely unfold. So just because we have 3 days, 4 days of volatility, it just keeps on ramping up. I believe there's at least another week left of this volatility index to keep on climbing higher and higher. Of course, I could be wrong about this, but this is like my theory. That's why I am speculating here, and I'm putting a small amount of money in there just to speculate. For this TVIX play, I figure if it can come up like 400% or so like it did before, I am able to wait on this for up to 2 months or so because it can keep on going down and down. But then when it does happen, it can spike up and then all of a sudden I would make a profit again, just like today. With the last few days of downturn, to me, this is kind of insignificant. To me, it's just kind of like a scraped knee. Some people lost a little bit of money, but not a lot of people lost a lot of money. Not yet. I am waiting for blood on the streets. Now, me talking about this is not really me patting myself on the back just yet because I did not sell out of TVIX just yet. I'm holding on to this, waiting for bigger days to come. In fact, if you're asking me what I'm waiting for, I am waiting for a crazy downturn of something more significant than the lowest low back in March. Now, what are the dangers of keeping this is because I am actually betting against the Fed. I am thinking that the stock market, all the market participants, all the retail investors, all the institutional investors, they're going to overpower the Fed. Of course, back in the housing crisis, I remember them doing all these monetary policy. They're saying, oh yeah, now we're going to do like Operation Twist or whatever kind of thing. And I remember back then, their words somehow did not have as big an effect on the stock market as they are today. So I have been alive at a point where when they try to announce certain things, they held news conferences and their words did not have such a supportive effect on the stock market. And I can see this happening again. The stock market can keep on going down despite what the Fed tries to do. Back when I made that TVIX video on the volatility and I bought $1,000, I said I'm going to put $1,000 in. It turns out I ended up buying 10 shares because it's a little bit more round and easier to keep track of. At least a dozen of you guys said in the comments saying, oh, now I don't believe you as much because you're only putting so little in there. The thing is, this is a calculated risk. I know this is extremely risky. And if I put too much in it, it's going to affect my emotions. So I want to put a small amount in it so that I can hold on for the longer term, which I think it's going to be 1 to 2 months. If I put too much money in there and I see it lose like 50–60%, I'm going to freak out and I'm going to go, you know what, I want to keep my principal and then I'm going to end up selling. I put real money in there, although it's not a really huge amount. This is a speculative play and I am not going to risk my entire livelihood on one stock trade. This is just completely stupid if I do that. It's kind of like buying Bitcoin. You go and mortgage the house and you put everything into one single asset. No, this is stupid. Again, my estimate for this going forward, I am thinking it might get as crazy as reaching $1,000 for TVIX. So me buying in at, what was it, $139 or so, If it reaches 800, this is like a 4x increase, which is kind of like my other speculative trades with Bitcoin, with Tesla as well. So I don't know if this is going to happen with TVIX or not. This is just a theory. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it could just as well go down on Friday. The Fed announces, oh yeah, we're gonna start doing yield curve control or something. They have all these fancy things to do with the monetary policy these days. And all of a sudden, everybody in the stock market goes, oh my gosh, hands up. The Fed has like, you know, a bunch of guns hidden and we don't know what they got, but it's super duper powerful. Unlimited quantitative easing or something. People get scared. They are trying to bluff the market, I feel. They're like, we got so much stuff on you guys. You know, we're gonna prop the market up. They just say it and it becomes reality for some reason. I don't know if you guys do this as well, but usually whenever the stock market goes down, like the past week or two, it has been going up, but in my perspective, it has been going down because I haven't been invested in the stock market. So when that happens, I actually don't look at my brokerage account as much. I feel like everyone does this. Let me know in the comments down below if you do the same thing. And then if it does well, you tend to look at your portfolio more than a couple times a day. It's just kind of like a feel-good type of thing, right? Quick word on Tesla. I bought at 200 or so. Sold at 800, I made $60,000 on it. Okay, great. Now it's at 972. If I kept it riding all this time, I would have made a little bit more, another $17,000 or so. But right now, I think it's in the bubble because the entire market is in the bubble. If you buy into it, you might see a world of hurt. I don't know. I can't predict the future or anything, but it certainly feels high right now. Even Elon Musk goes, LOL, stonks.
Stonks.
Too bad I didn't buy at the bottom of March 18th, where it was around $350. I think if the stock market falls, Tesla is gonna fall just as well. It's just that there's a lot of crazy money on the stock market these days, so it's propping everything up. But then on today, which is Thursday, there's a giant sell-off and there's only one single stock in the S&P that actually went up. But my way of playing the stock market, okay, investing, playing, or whatever, speculative trade, is I am investing based on the entire ocean, the entire stock market. I'm not trying to pick a particular stock per se. So the question here is, once the stock market finally falls down really, really hard, what am I gonna buy? Am I gonna buy pharmaceuticals? Am I gonna buy airlines or what? The thing is, I am narrowing down on thinking that maybe I should invest heavily in tech. Most notably, the FANG stock, including the Tesla. I'm gonna put Tesla along with it. I'll call it T-FANG or something. So it will be Tesla, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. Maybe I'll divide like 15% across of them. If the stock market goes down 50, 60% from here, maybe, who knows? I feel like these companies are just getting bigger and bigger. They're doing more and more of everything. Eventually, these tech companies are going to absorb so many companies that instead of the S&P 500, it's going to be S&P 6. There are only going to be 6 companies in the entire United States. I'm exaggerating here, but there's going to be these really giant globs of companies that hold so many different aspects of our lives. So because I think they're somewhat unstoppable, I think if you can't fight them, you just join them by buying their stock. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my perspective on the stock market. Don't forget to give me a like and push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.
Stonks.